wait for the weather to get a little bit nicer so we can do some test hitting on this. We're gonna start working on my car, and the first thing we're gonna do is take off this giant sticker. So if you guys have ever thought about wrapping your car, it's a good idea, but you gotta understand, you know, nothing's perfect. A couple of reasons why we're looking at taking it off finally is, you know, I'm just kind of ready to go back to it being all black. We're gonna do some paint correcting on it. But also, you know, there are some imperfections that I'm trying to...
Yeah, like especially here, for sure. Stuff like that.
I mean, look, you gotta understand, again, nothing's perfect. If I let this thing sit in the sun, the majority of that stuff is probably gonna go away. But we wanna get everything off. We wanna make sure that we have the... I don't really know how I was going with that, but...
Now, we gotta take the bumpers off, right? What do we actually have to take off on this car? Because the fender's got to come off, or is it just the bumper?
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to pull the hood just so it's not really in the way. And this in and of itself is a whole thing. It seems like every time it goes somewhere and the hood has to come off, because it's aftermarket, you have to really play with it to get it
Can you show us?
Perfectly.
When you try to shut it,
yeah,
like shut.
Again, this is not normally how it is, but...
Like you should be able to just close it, right?
Yeah, but with this you can't. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
So if you even look, like if you look at the gap line, like Rob and I have had this hood off. Every time this car goes somewhere and they take the hood off, they never get it right. Rob and I get this hood right every single time. So we're gonna take this thing off and fix it ourselves. I honestly don't know why companies struggle with getting this hood set, but when we do it, it works great. It sounds wild, but
it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little finesse, and you know, when it's your own car, obviously.
So this has to come off too, right? We gotta take the front bumper off, the rear bumper off.
We gotta pull the bumper off. We're gonna obviously have to take all the emblems off because this wasn't cut around the emblems. Everything was pulled off the right way when it was installed. We gotta take the rear bumper off. The spoiler's gotta come off. Tail lights gotta come out. Outside of that, roof comes off pretty easily. It shouldn't be overly complicated, but we're gonna go through a couple different things in the video, just watching through the process of actually pulling it off. Praying there's not a ton of adhesive on the actual paint, but if there is, we're gonna get it all dialed in.
So what's the best way to take this off? What would you, best way, what do you think? Use an air compressor, heat it up, we're gonna blow a torpedo heater on it, get the wrap nice and warm.
We're gonna try a couple different things. I mean, where we are, it's a little bit on the colder side. That's why we got the torpedo heater over here, kind of warming the shop up. So the game plan is to put it, we're gonna figure out a good safe distance from the wrap first so we don't melt it, but we wanna try and heat up each panel, and then we're gonna either try and just peel it off normally. If it works, perfect, we're gonna keep it simple. If it gives us a little bit of an issue, we're gonna hook up the compressor and try and blow some air in it, see if we can force it up. But really, we won't know until we dive in. We got the heat gun if we need to get real close in some of the corners. But fingers crossed, I mean, the wrap that we put on was a nicer one, a little bit more expensive, so I'm hoping it's a little bit more durable, a little bit easier to take off. But, you know, with these things, you never know, right? We always have a plan until we don't.
Yeah, it's true. All right, well, let's start tearing this thing apart and see what we get ourselves into. All right, we got the torpedo heater blowing on this, warm it up. We're actually gonna try to do a door first before we pour everything off. We got the hood off, we got the top off. We just put the hood on the back of the S10 for now, no big deal. All right, so we found the easiest way was to run the heat gun on the back side of this, get the lid started. We have the heater blowing on this to keep that warm, and then we're gonna just run the heat gun behind this and it'll cool right off. It's colder out. The shop when we got here was like 40, probably like 48 degrees. So the wrap was pretty stiff. So we're trying to warm up the shop and the body panels. But I think that's the easiest way for us to do it. Get it from under all the weather stripping and stuff. All right, we got one door done. We had to take the whole panel off because the guy who wrapped it, he actually did a really good job when he wrapped it. Just like I said, stickers, they just fail over time. But he had all the panels and stuff pulled off, like the mirror stuff when he did. So we had to get the mirror off. And we're going to actually keep the mirror off. And we're going to get all this paint corrected around here too, because it looks like crap. The whole car is getting paint corrected, so why not do the little stuff too? So we're going to let the mirror hang there. We could just take it out, but you got to undo the speaker and all that stuff. So I'm just going to paint correct around it. And then we'll put it all back together. But Rob's working on that door. And then we'll start pulling other panels off. It's not as easy to pull off as you think, guys. It's actually a nightmare. It does come off in one piece, but it's a nightmare. It's like pulling a... massive sticker off. But look how much better. So we got this door done. If you look close at paint, it needs a lot of work. It's kind of hard to see right now, but if I put a light on it, you can see it's pretty rough. I'm working on this fender next. We're trying to do all the panels like we stated before, except the ones we got to pull off. Like if you look at this fender over here, I stopped to right where the bumper's at because we got to remove this front bumper. Rob's working on the stuff back there until we have to remove that stuff. And I ceramic coated this door with our spray, and that's all I did. I didn't even wipe this clean. And I just want to show you, look, this is the glass, the reflection in the glass. The reflection in the paint is better than the reflection in the glass, which is crazy. Now, we barely keep this stuff on the shelf. We probably won't have any in stock by the time this video airs. If we do, it sells out pretty quick. But I just want you guys to see, like, we pulled the wrap off and I sprayed this on it. And what this does is silicone based, so it fills in all the swirl marks. So this wasn't paint corrected, even though this car's got a million swirl marks on it. And it looks like glass. And I'm in a shop with lights. So you can see my boots, you can see my shoelaces and the paint. This stuff's crazy. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description for you guys if you want it, but we can't keep it on the shelf, so it probably won't be in stock. But look at that reflection. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. So we're over here. I'm gonna work on this fender next. Shit, it almost fell. And then I don't know how far we're gonna get today, but we're gonna keep chugging along, and once we get, like I said, the main parts off, we're gonna pull the bumper off, pull the back bumper off. Look how much better this car looks in black. This thing, and with the wheels being polished and the front end lifted back up, this thing's gonna look nasty. Now that we got this fender done, we're gonna get the mirrors back on, but I wanted to show you guys something. When you take these mirrors off, just get yourself a drill with a little foam pad. And I did some right here already, but if you look on this side, you see how that's really worn out from the mirror just sitting there. Use some rubbing compound and get that all buffed out. So if you know what you're doing, if you don't do it. Well, with a foam pad, you're not gonna really eat into the clear. So get that all cleaned up before you put the stuff back on. You'd be surprised what better it looks. You can see, I already started over here a little bit. I come out to about here. This whole car is gonna get paint corrected at some point anyway, but we don't wanna have to pull the mirrors off again. If you look over here, obviously I ceramic this door, like I said earlier, but if you look how good it looks around that mirror, it's just the extra 30 seconds it takes to do it, it makes a big difference. So. And this is generally just what I'm using. Little foam pad, nothing crazy, low speed, and just kind of try to clean it up, because that's where dirt just sat for a long time, and just some cleaner is not going to get it. But the little things, you know, it makes our car look a lot cleaner when you get it all back together. Dude, why do we have the front end jacked up?
A little bit of ADHD. We were taking the wrap off, and I noticed how low it was sitting because of the blower. So I figured, you know, why not stop and jack it up and try and fix that? And we realized that this side, the bolt came out with a little elbow grease. This one, we might have to, you can see the hammer. Yeah, it doesn't want to cooperate. So we are gonna soak that thing and hope for the best. And
I'm literally pulling the wrap off this car and this man's jacking it up. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? He's like, dude, after we got the blower on, the car was scraping. So my ADHD got the best of me. I started jacking it up. I'm like, that was supposed to be for the next video, but I guess we're doing this in this video now. So we gotta let the bolt soak. That's probably gonna be a little bit, but we got this side loose. So how this works is, if you guys don't know much about Corvettes, but this is the spring, and then there's a bolt right down there. And when you tighten it, it puts pressure on the lower control arm, which raises and will lower the front of these cars. And after you had the blower put on, which I'm assuming added probably about 60, 70 pounds, the front ran pretty low. If you look, you can see it was scraping way up here, let alone the valance. It was scraping way up there. So I guess it just bugged Rob enough that he had to jack the damn car up in the middle of working. I was freaking in the bathroom. I came out and I'm like, what the? But all right, so we're gonna work on that. We're gonna keep working on the wrap. Now that the front end's jacked up, we can pull the bumper off, which is cool. So I guess that's the next project. All right, we got the rear quarters done, the bottom piece, working on The back bumper after, we're working on the front actually. I don't even know why I said the back. We have the heat blowing on. I just turned it off for the video. Rob just leaves his hat in the engine bay. But yeah, making some good progress. That was actually a pain. We had to actually take off all the bolts that mount the rear quarter on to get back, because like I said, the guy that did this wrap, he did it well. We had to take the whole rear bumper off, so we got to take out the tail lights, which just a couple screws are very easy. This we put on ourselves, so we're just going to unbolt that. And then you go inside, and there's screws across the back, and then the whole back rear bumper comes off. So, but we're going to try to get as much as the wrap off the front as possible before pulling the bumper off. All right, he's working on the front bumper. I have the back bumper almost off. So what I'm doing is I took spoiler off. I'm getting as much of the wrap I can get off before I actually loosen up the rear bumper, because it's nice to have it all attached. So when you pull tension on it, you're not fighting this on a stand. So get everything off you can, and then pull the bumper off and then get the seams. That's the easiest way we found. Same thing with the front. So we pulled off a good amount, and now we got to get around the lights and stuff. So we're loosening up the side. But so under here is a couple, you gotta pull this liner out. It's just a couple regular fender clips, and then you gotta go up and in there, and there's a couple 10mm bolts you gotta get to. And same thing for the other side. Is there anything else you had to do besides that? And then a bunch of lower clips.
No, it's way, if you take out the side marker light, the access is way, way better.
Okay, so take out the side marker light first. But we really have to take them off. We probably could pull the wrap off without taking this off. But these emblems, we got to take the bumper off, get the emblems. But we got the spoiler off. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the mirrors. You can see where the spoiler's at, and you can see where it just rubbed. So we're going to paint correct all this, clean this up real good where the old tail light used to be, and make that all look really nice before putting the spoiler back on. So I'm going to keep working on this. Rob's gonna keep working on the front. We're making really good progress. It's only been about 45 minutes since we started on the bumpers, and I think we might have like another hour or so left. What do you think? You got probably an hour up there?
Yeah, it's not gonna be too bad.
Look, he's all fancy with his little headlamp. I'm not linking this, but I got these cheap off of Amazon. Got like 5 of them for like 30 bucks. The greatest thing. I'm laying around everywhere. I showed Rob, and he's like, "Dude, I gotta get one for my house." So if I find the link for them, I'll put them in the description. But they're pretty awesome. They work great. All right, let me get back to it. We got the bumper off. Looking at this A&A kit, it's actually pretty nice. If you look down at the intercooler, it came with this custom piece. I'm not sure if this came like this or if Josh at HPA did this, but it actually forces the air to go up into the intercooler. And the intercooler is angled, so it goes up and over. It's actually a pretty sick design. We got that off, which is cool. So we're gonna get the emblem swapped off and change some stuff. But there's where his blow-off valve is. That's why that thing screams so loud.
Whenever you're taking
when you're next to it,
always get new clips.
Yeah. So and get OEM ones. Get GM OE clips. Yeah, they're like $18 a piece, but it's worth it because the cheap plastic ones will break. So he don't care because he's got new ones. But every time we take the bumper off, you try to put it back on, like it just doesn't work. Just replace them. It's probably like 40 bucks. All right, every single piece of wrap is officially off the car. So you can see here, we cleaned up. They resprayed this bumper and this fender because they added ghost flames to it. It's kind of funny. We always tell Rob the front of his car's on fire. You can see it in the right light. So they taped off the front emblem instead of pulling it off. So hopefully when the emblem goes back on, you won't be able to tell. But we got everything off. Rob's working on the back. We pulled the back bumper off, pulled the spoiler off. We paint corrected this, paint corrected the spoiler. And then we paint corrected everything that has a part going back on. That way, you know, we don't have to come so close when we do it. But you can tell, you can kind of see the difference of that back lip compared to the trunk lid's pretty rough. You can see like the haze and stuff in it. That turned out pretty good. So now now we got to get the rest of the wheels polished up, the front and back, paint correct the car, raise the front end some. I think we're going to paint the calipers. I'm trying to convince him to do some coil relocations or at least get nicer valve covers and get rid of them crappy brackets, clean up some of the wiring under the hood, make it look a little bit more presentable, get the hood back installed and adjusted the right way. and a few other things. But as of for the wrap part of the video, that's done. So next video is going to be us getting this paint cleaned up. Even though it looks pretty good, it's not. That's just because the ceramic coat's on that door and it looks freaking awesome. But we need to use alcohol in the whole car, strip everything off, paint correct it, and then we'll coat it and make it look good. You can see how bad the wheels look. You can see I got this one started. Been working on this one. So yeah, it's a lot of work. If you guys don't necessarily need a wrap, don't get it. It's a pain in the ass to take off, and if you're not careful, you can damage some stuff taking it off. But what do you think, Rob? You think it was a pain in the butt to take it off?
Yeah. Well, because he put it on the right way, we had it was a lot more work than we originally thought. But
what do you guys think? Leave in the comments. Think it looks better black, or did you like it white? We like the black because in the C6, the black looks sharp. The wrap was starting to fail. It looked cool, but at the end of the day, it's just a big sticker. But once we get these wheels polished up and cleaned up, we're going to paint correct all the powder coat and black on it. We're going to polish them up. And like I said, do the calipers. We're going to make this thing look freaking sharp. So when it hits the streets, it's going to look awesome. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notifications button if you guys want to get notified on the next video. We're going to take that out as soon as we can. I just showed you earlier that there's still snow outside, so we can't test that. So we got some other stuff to work on right now. I got some future projects for that as well. Intake, stuff like that we're going to make until the snow breaks. But like I got in the other video, everybody said move the boost reference off the regulator to the carpet. We just did like a little temp thing right now. So as soon as the weather's better, we're going to take this thing out. But appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the support, and catch you on the next one. All right, Rob, tell him, tell him what I just made you do.
we were finally buttoning it back up, and I asked him.
No, just the left one.
Which one? This one?
The one close to the light. This guy, his head's losing. I forgot to plug in the brake light when I put the spoiler back on, and he put the lights back in, and he's so slow that he's pulling off the long. Like he's like, what am I going to reach all the way back there? Yeah, so after that,
double check your plugs.
Yeah, check everything.
Put stuff back together. Man, we're not experts. We just have tools.
Look at that ceramic coating. That looks good. Let me see my shirt. All right, that's the end of it.